a parent's worst nightmare, getting a call late one night that your child has been in a bad crash. A veteran Gainesville police officer knows what it's like to make those awful calls to parents, and now he knows what it's like to be on the receiving end of one. Across the nation and here in Georgia, the DOT says there's been a troubling trend on our roads, an increase in deadly wrecks where people were not wearing their seatbelts. This officer says his son is only here today because he buckled up.
Mama was flipping out.
Gainesville police officer Griggs Wall and his 20-year-old son John are still reeling after a Memorial Day crash in the rain that could have turned deadly.
I was up later than I usually am and got a phone call, and I didn't recognize the number, but I still answered it, and it was him on the other end of the phone. And I knew when he started talking, I knew something was wrong.
Just had like a little bump in the road, and I hit that, and my tires didn't catch traction, just caught water. Started going to the right and I tried to correct a little bit, and I guess overcorrected, and it did a 180 around, and then it went right in the ditch and then smacked into the tree.
Officer Wall spent years as a fatality investigator responding to deadly wrecks that looked a lot like this one.
When you pull up and you see the fire trucks and the ambulance and law enforcement there, your mind's still racing 100 different directions. And it did shake me up from the crashes that I've investigated, and looking at that truck, that's not a crash that people walk away from.
John believes his seatbelt saved his life that night.
I probably would have gone through the windshield. I probably would have been crushed too. That would have been bad in so many different ways.
Buckling up is something many of us don't think twice about, but DOT leaders say of the more than 1,500 deaths last year, 56% were not wearing a seatbelt. They call it an alarming number.
I actually have a friend that doesn't wear a seatbelt, and I try to get him to wear it all the time. He just never puts it on. He just gets in the car and just goes. I always put mine on just in case that what if, because you never know whenever that moment's going to hit.
You never know. And I got new numbers yesterday from the DOT. They say so far this year, 64% of the fatalities, they could not confirm that seatbelts were being worn. So that number is actually up from last year. The DOT says the new numbers could go along with the rise in popularity of rideshare services like Uber and Lyft. They stress that not only is it the law, but it's still very important to put on your seatbelt even when you're a passenger and when you're in the back seat too.
So glad he had that seatbelt on. And you mentioned Uber and Lyft. Are people in those ride shares less likely to buckle up?
That's what the studies show, is that you get into the back seat and you're not in control of the car, so you forget to put on your seatbelt. So they're saying that could be one of the correlations here is that people are just translating that habit into when they get into their own cars.
Make it a habit.
I know,
no matter if you're front or back, to put that.
My car dings too much; it would drive me nuts if I didn't have mine on, and it's
here.
so automatic these days. But it's a scary number, that's for sure.
Well, hopefully people will see his story and make sure they buckle up.
I hope so.
Sure. Katie, thank you.